It's a season-opening slate for Syracuse this weekend. The Orange fresh off a win against Army, and now it's Fordham, the test for the Orange to try to sweep the weekend. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Great to be with you. I'm Jared Johnston alongside Riley Underwood, and Syracuse is already 1-0 to start the year, but they were 9-0 last season, just missed out on the tournament. What's the expectation for this year, Riley?
Well, as you said, Jared, they started off really strong, and then things kind of wore down and didn't end the way they wanted to. They missed the NCAA tournament, so it's kind of a rebirth of this new team with a lot of the same players as well. They're just trying to get a new start, and a win against Fordham would really help them.
Rebirth, maybe reincarnation, players keeping their same souls. 5 souls returning from last season. One of them, Victoria Konopatskaya, who was an All-American in her freshman season. She's a senior now, and she's at the number 3 spot.
Well, Konopatskaya is really exciting to watch. As you said, an All-American her freshman year. She's now entering her 4th season at Syracuse. She hits the ball with a lot of pace, a lot of power, and she just exudes confidence when she's on that court. Really fun to watch.
And on the other side for Fordham, no better player to look at than the senior captain, Eleni Fazula, who is slotted up against Konopatskaya, and she helped them clinch an Atlantic 10 championship last year.
She did, and that number 3 spot's going to be really fun to watch with her and Konopatskaya going at it, but she's really tactical on the court. She knows how to place her shots. She knows what she's doing, and that's going to get her a win if she can really execute that today versus the Orange.
And before we get to play, we'll give you a rundown on rules here because college tennis is just a little bit different. 3 doubles matches that amount to 1 point. That is 2 wins out of 3 for either team. So when that 1 point happens, whichever team gets it, then the singles matches will transpire and each match gets a point. So from there, it's a best of 7 series, and the winner of at least 4 matches claims the win. There's also no lets in college tennis, so we got to get that out of the way as well. For Syracuse, though, on doubles, it's very interesting because against Army, you played with entirely different pairings, while Fordham played against Cornell yesterday, and they keep the same pairings.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Coach Limam switching it up early in the season, and they won. They swept Army yesterday, so it's kind of interesting to see that he switched it all up. I'm really looking forward to that number 2 doubles matchup with Sisaweva and Komodo because Sisaweva only played 3 doubles matches all last year when she was at Florida. She just transferred to Syracuse, and I see a lot of good ones today.
A new lineup for head coach Eunice Lamam in his 10th season as Syracuse head coach, and he's done a lot of good for this program with a few All-Americans, now a decade in Syracuse, and he is really kind of a staple for Syracuse tennis. On the other side for Fordham, it's head coach and director of tennis at Fordham as well, Michael Sauter, and he coached them to an Atlantic 10 tennis championship, and that conference was really unexpected for him. Is what he said. Really, the experience was great, but now they lost a lot of players out the door and got 3 grad transfers, rather 4 of them in the door. So overall, he's really excited, really pleased to see what they can build upon with even more experience, despite the fact that maybe some of them weren't on that team last season.
That's right, and it's his 3rd season at the helm of the women's program. And before that, he was in charge of the men's tennis program, and he's done a good job, obviously, taking them to the NCAA tournament last year. He was excited for this one.
Yeah, Sauter's saying that it's important to schedule difficult teams like Syracuse that have been in the rankings, and especially for a Syracuse team that just missed out on the NCAA tournament last season. Overall, when you're playing in the ACC, it's arguably the best conference in tennis. A Syracuse team that went 9-0 to start the season last year and did pretty good in ACC play, got a ranked win against Miami. Zainab Erman with a number 1 victory in singles as well, but from there it kind of fell apart where Syracuse was losing down the stretch. You go to the ACC tournament, maybe things can change. Well, did not against Georgia Tech, but the good thing for Syracuse heading into this one is a home record for them was terrific last season, and now so far they're 1-0. See if they can get up to 2-0. But Fordham, meanwhile, is on the road to start the season. This the second game in upstate New York. They played in Ithaca against Cornell, a 7-1 loss for them, but a few tiebreakers for them. And overall, they're going to look on key returners like the player on the left, Eleni Fazula, who was named to an Atlantic 10 first team, helped them clinch that conference championship, and it's a really huge accolade for head coach Michael Salter. So Fazula playing at the number 3 spot, but there's plenty of players that can bring that experience. And the doubles play is a bit of a different animal. What's kind of the difference for these players when it comes to pairing up on teams?
Well, it's kind of just mix and match until you get the right pairing. And yesterday we saw with Syracuse, their pairing seemed to match. We had Ito and Komodo, they're best friends off the court, and now we see them split up. And everyone's kind of changing around, but Fordham decides to stick with it and see what's going on with them.
We're now on the number 1 doubles court with Victoria Kanapatskaya and Shiori Ito, a new pairing this season for Syracuse. Great first serve and a slam from Ito. Some net play, that's what she brings. Head coach Eunice Lamam saying that she really does have one of the best set of hands when it comes to that net play.
That was a gimme right there for Ito. She was just waiting for it.
On the other side for Fordham, it's Rafaela Alhak with Rose Hu. They played as the number 1 doubles pairing in their season opener on the road yesterday. Again, it's the quick hands from Ito and a good, powerful hit from the baseline from Kanapatskaya. What's kind of the complement between these two players? How can they mesh as a new pairing?
Well, Kanapatskaya is excellent at the baseline. She hits with a lot of power on her shot, and she knows where to place, and we just saw right there, Ito set her up perfectly for Kanapatskaya to put it away.
A wide miss from Alhak, and it's 40-love Syracuse. Got 3 chances to hold serve early in this. And we've talked about consistency over the years with head coach Eunice Lamam. One of his biggest phrases is control the controllables. And so far, Kanapatskaya just guiding that ball in. She's been the beneficiary of some good serving, up 40-love.
Double fault, that's
uncharacteristic.
It is uncharacteristic.
Maybe an announcer's jinx, as they say. Word on the street. But yeah, you just got to get that over the net. I mean, what happens there when you miss short on both serves?
Well, you just got to make an adjustment, and that's what she did, as almost got the ace, and beautiful setup for Ito.
Ito pounces, and Syracuse takes the first game. There you go, a higher toss on the first serve, and she can contact that ball and put it away. Fist bumps all around for Eunice Lamam, and another good start on the doubles front for Syracuse.
It started off as a great serve, took her outside, took her out of play, and that's when Ito, she could have went down the middle, but she pushes both the players back and just splits the defense.
It's always that play down the middle where if you're not sure if you need to hit down the line or cross court, you can kind of split them, and someone's got to say, got it.
And no one had it. No one got it.
Sometimes you both say it. Sometimes you just look at each other and you're like, oh, get it next time. So now here's Rose Hu to serve for Fordham. Beautiful net play. And Ito stays in the point. Longest rally of the day thus far, and Hu stands strong. She had most of the strokes for that. Really just guiding that ball on the court, not really trying to kill it, and as a result, you stay in that point for 20 strokes or more.
That's sometimes what happens. You get down early, and you don't want to put yourself out of it by trying too hard to get some winners. So you just force the other team to make mistakes, and that's what Hu just did.
Rose Hu, Indiana University transfer, played 14 singles matches last season and found the majority of her time with 16 doubles matches.
She's originally from Beijing, China.
Yeah, like Syracuse with international recruitment, the same is the case for Fordham. Her partner, Rafaela Alhak from Mexico City, Mexico. There in the capital, also a transfer from William and Mary, and she is a grad student. Meanwhile, Hu, getting set for service, is a senior, so she had 3 years at Indiana University. Also trained in California and spends her time out west to prepare for the American calendar and slate when she's here in the States as well.
Fordham has a really good music program, and who played the violin for 13 years, has a bunch of certifications from over in China. Really powerful shot. Really powerful shot.
What goes into the decision, though? You're hitting a forehand instead of a volley?
Well, you just want to get that. She wanted to get the power on it. She didn't have to let it bounce. She just took it out of midair, and I don't think that's what they were expecting on the other end.
Always remember Serena doing that.
That's right.
Going up to the net and...
Little Williams-esque.
Yeah. That's a high bar for anyone, though, so here's Hu restarting play. These are some beautiful, consistent ground strokes from Ito. Can't hold on, though.
Alec posted a little, or poached, excuse me, a little bit there, and it almost costed her because Kennebec was trying to go cross court, but ends up working out for the Rams.
So it's a good game, good service game for Fordham, now up to hold serve.
Beautiful. No way you're getting that one.
Well, you'd hope you don't miss if you're a foot away from the net, right? Unless you
It
touch
happens.
The,
It
unless
happens.
you touch the net. Don't want to concede a point that way.
It happens. You get too confident. You're like, oh, this is easy, and then right into the middle of the net.
Hu again with a first serve. A miss on the put away from Ito, and Fordham evens it up at 1 apiece.
But again, that's an easy shot right there. Just take it one shot at a time. Can't get too ahead of yourself. Just a simple mistake.
Now Shiori Ito will get to go on serve and maybe try to right that wrong. Probably one of the more positive players on this team. Recruited with Miyuka Komodo out of Japan in her junior season for Syracuse. Great serve right down the tee, and then a great forehand. She gets the first point of her service game.
Really a good comeback so far by Fordham. It looked like Syracuse was going to take care of them in the first game. I like the way Fordham's playing. I like the way they're handling this situation.
What comes to mind as far as how they approach this matchup against a Syracuse team that has proved itself in ACC competition?
They have, and it's a bigger school, bigger recruits, and you just gotta let them make mistakes. That was very strategic play by Alhak, and I think you just gotta force Syracuse to take those tough shots.
So
Control the controllable, Jared.
you say they're a bit more free?
I'd say so. They lost yesterday. They didn't play very well, so they're just trying to let loose a little bit, not so tight. And again, another point for the Rams.
Fordham coming off a 6-1 loss to Cornell, but the scoreline's a bit misleading because they dropped 3 tiebreakers, including their 5 and 6 singles, along with Eleni Fazula at 3 singles. So the doubles point they did not get yesterday afternoon, but trying to inch into this one and disrupt Ito on the serve. She evens it back up at 30 all. This next point is really crucial here.
And when we talked to head coach Michael Sauter for Fordham, he mentioned the tiebreakers and losing close ones. He said you just can't get in your head. That the mental game could have been better for his team. That's what he hopes he prepared them for today.
Great defensive return from Ito. And that'll bounce for a winner.
Looked like Alhack hit the deck there.
Hey, there's a smile from Kanapetskaya as well.
Something you don't see every day.
It's just one of those shots where just trying to return it. Defensive stroke from Ito right near the tarp, and great placement on the shot. Kanapetskaya pounces, and Syracuse gets the game. All the teams holding serve thus far. Syracuse with 2 service games. Fordham now with Alhack up to serve. What have you seen so far? I mean, after dropping a game early, it was Fordham that looked like it maybe could have gotten the break there.
Yeah, it looked like they might have, but again, some people like to serve, some people would rather defer the service, but both these teams good on those opportunities and good at capitalizing on them. I've been really impressed with the net play as well, because at the end of the day, it is a team game. They've been setting each other up very well.
On the other side for Fordham, what did you think that Katia Bogomolova was saying to her players right now?
Well, I think she's just saying stay in it. Again, it's a mental game. You can't get down on yourself. You're only down by 1. It's just started. We just started. You can't get too ahead of yourself. One game at a time. One point at a time.
Bogomolova, an assistant coach under the tutelage of Michael Souter. She prepares her team at the #1 doubles spot. It's Alhack to serve for the first time today. That's Kanapetskaya just playing with him then.
It made it look easy. Fordham running around, Alhack and Hugh hustling for both ends of the court, and Kanapetskaya just stands there. All right, I'll take that. Right to the corner.
Nice tricky drop lob combination from Kanapetskaya. It puts them up 15 love. Ball just outside the tape.
Good net play on both sides.
The call right now was called out by Alhack. Point goes to Syracuse. The chair umpire saw the ball was in. It was at least a foot in, honestly. So Syracuse should be going up. And Fordham will have to go down love 30 on the serve. See what the official ruling is, though. As they delegate and take their time, it is Syracuse getting the point. Right now, Ito and Kanapetskaya up 2-1. We'll see if they can close out this break here.
Almost got it. Just hits the frame of that racket. Hard to control where the ball goes.
Now a triple break for Syracuse. This is where you can pull away. Ito couldn't get to it. She was on the other court, the spectators.
He was on
there.
the other court. It was good job to take her away from the action. Really beautiful ball by Alhack.
That's a great shot there from our courtside camera. Here's the William & Mary transfer, trying to hold serve. Still got to make up 2 points.
Fordham making a little comeback.
What goes into that when you're down 3 points on your serve? I mean, you might be a bit scared, but what's the mentality there?
Well, again, just control what you can control. You can't think about, oh, I'm down 40 love. I'm not coming back from this one. You just take it one point at a time. 15, then 30, then 40. Hey, maybe a win.
And there goes Who for Fordham. 3 straight points to get it up to deuce. And per the agreement of the coaches, in out-of-conference play, you can either decide to play ads or you can play no ad scoring. So that means the next point wins on deuce, and it's receiver's choice for the deuce side for Kanapetskaya. Called out by Syracuse. The umpire confirms, and Kanapetskaya and Ito break Fordham to go up 3-1. But now we'll switch things over and head over to the second doubles court, where Miyuka Komodo leads her doubles pairing. She was on the #1 team yesterday, but now she's paired up with Anastasia Sisoeva. That's one of the new players, or at least newest faces for Syracuse that we should be seeing here in doubles play. She factored in yesterday, and on this 6-person roster, she is a player that came into the team after transferring from University of Florida. SEC experience is also very important. They're currently up 3-1.
Yeah, it's different coming from living in Florida. She's from Sarasota to playing in Florida to now playing indoor courts. Kind of switches up your play style a little bit.
Game of dodgeball there for Komodo. Tough to win that point when the ball is coming straight at you. But overall, it's a faster game inside the Drumlins Tennis Center. Syracuse playing indoors for the majority of its season and finds a lot of its games being indoors. Meanwhile, when Sisoeva was playing in Florida, a lot of those SEC teams are playing outside. So we talked with Coach Eunice Lamont about that transition. It's really just getting adjusted to the wind. There's no sun. You don't have to worry about serving into the sun. Things like that that do kind of change the game a little bit.
Yeah, there's no outside factors. You're playing tennis. Nothing else matters.
Put away on the drop from Komodo. Syracuse closes out serve 4-1 over Franny Shea and Demi Javeri, 2 grad students as well. 2 of the 4 players that were grad transfers for head coach Michael Sauter. Javeri transferring from Valparaiso University in Indiana, while Franny Shea an in-conference transfer from Davidson College.
A lot of transfers on this Fordham team. One thing they like doing, they like going on the road. When we talked to Coach Sauter, he was saying he likes these challenges. He likes going up against teams like Syracuse because it gives them exposure and just puts them in the spotlight a little bit. And they have 7 straight road games to open up the season. They're heading to Marist next Sunday.
We're now on court 1 for the #3 doubles pairing. Paulina Kozireva, Inez Font for Syracuse. On the other side, Camila Baeza, grad student, with the senior captain, Eleni Fazula. One of the closer matches here today. Fordham with a chance to break Kozireva. Got to get the second serve. She doesn't get it. Double fault, and Syracuse and Fordham tied at 3 apiece.
They're kind of switching roles a little bit because Fordham and their match against Cornell, they were struggling with a lot of double faults. Just the simple mistakes like that. They're just giving up a point. In this case, giving up a game, and now it's all knotted up at 3 apiece.
Yesterday in doubles against Army, Kozyreva was paired at the number 2 spot with Kanapatskaya, had a 6-0 win. Font with Sesoeva for a 6-3 win. So both of them in less close matches. And now to at least recover and get a step up. After you just got broken, you got to go right back and break Fordham now.
That's right. Kozyreva was taking care of business yesterday. It's 6-0 in the doubles, and then in the singles, 6-2, 6-0. Complete sweep.
15 all. And Fordham yesterday played their match at Cornell. They had 2 matches tacked on as losses and then an unfinished match, so they dropped the doubles point in that one.
And they do that. They have the unfinished matches because once the game's lost, some coaches don't want to risk injury or anything happen and just call it, let's go home.
There's the senior captain, Eleni Fazula, out of Athens, Greece, and a player that's really grown through this program. A lot of these players having to wait their turn, and she grew from the 5 spot to the 3 spot last season, and she's been really consistent, now playing at number 3 doubles.
Yeah, last year she was the team's most improved player. First team All-Atlantic 10. And 10 in doubles last year.
Font trying to dig under that one. What could she do differently there?
Well, just got to get around to the ball faster, get your feet set, and that's basically what it comes down to. Just
should she let it bounce, or she took that one right out the air?
I'd say you let it bounce, Jared. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Sometimes that slows you down, gives you time to really think about it and get set.
Now Syracuse choosing its side.
Puts a lot of pressure on them.
The ad side. Font poaches and guesses wrong. Fazula takes advantage with the down-the-line winner. Fordham's up 4-3 on number 3 doubles.
Caught him out of position.
A good result there for the Rams on court number 1. Now we'll switch back to court 3, which has the number 1 singles pairing. I know the numbers are confusing, but we'll guide you all the way through here this afternoon / morning here between Syracuse and Fordham. Jared Johnston with Riley Underwood. Pleased to be here for the season opening weekend. Syracuse coming off a 7-0 win over Army yesterday. It's the 2nd game of the season, opening up at home. Kanapatskaya serving for Syracuse. Paired with Shiori Ito for the first time, and they brought a bit of ice and fire, I think is the best way you could describe them. Ito's kind of a backboard at the net, and Kanapatskaya can just power through shots.
It is a good pairing, and it's been working so far today, but I think this team gets along well. There's a lot of good pairings, and I like the Ito-Komodo pairing yesterday at the number 1 double spot against Army.
My eyes deceive me. It's actually Rose Hu serving, so Fordham currently down. This would be a good chance for Syracuse to set up a serve if they can close out the set. It's Ito to receive on the ad court. Great lob. It's a winner for Konopatskaya, and Syracuse gets a break up 5-1.
That's a beautiful shot right there. Just recognizing where everyone is at the court. They're all up at the net. Just over the head.
Now back with the number 2 pairing, Miyuka Komodo with Anastasia Sisoeva. And it's Komodo and Sisoeva up 5-1 currently. Komodo down 30-40 on her serve. See if she can bring it to deuce.
She has a really big first serve. See it there.
Into the net. Still a match point on the doubles number 2 court for Syracuse. We'll see what side Fordham selects. No ad scoring here for this out-of-conference matchup between Syracuse and Fordham. It's the deuce side for Franny Shea. Good get, then a second one. And an unforced error wins this first doubles match for Syracuse. A 6-1 finish for Sisoeva and Komodo on the number 2 court.
It's poor communication on the Fordham side. And really good ball placement. Smart to poach by the Orange, and celebration ensues. 1 point for Syracuse.
Sisoeva, a new player on this roster, a sophomore transfer out of the University of Florida, and it's great to see the team chemistry from what's always been a small team for head coach Eunice Lamam, and a new pairing as well. They're excited, off to a hot start.
And he's big on player retention, keeping his players. Sisoeva, a new one, but really not a lot of turnover usually for this Orange team.
Syracuse on court number 1 gets the victory. It's 6-1 for Ito and Konopatskaya. Syracuse claiming the first 2 doubles matches, and that gives head coach Eunice Lamam and company the doubles point.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Going up 2-0 gives you a good start and lets you relax a little bit. Not too much, Jared. Not too much relaxation, but a little bit when you go into singles matches.
Syracuse gets the doubles point off a number 1 and number 2 finish, both 6-1 for both of those teams. The last doubles pairing in play right now is Ines Font with Paulina Kozireva. They're currently knotted up at 4 apiece. On the ground right now, one knee is Camila Baeza, tying her right shoelace. She's paired up with Eleni Fazula. 2 experienced bunches here. Kozireva, a grad student, with Ines Font, a senior, and on the other side, Eleni Fazula, a senior, the captain for Fordham, with the grads transfer from Bryant and Camila Baeza. Baeza with the service. And straight into the net from Fazula there.
A little bit off balance. She was leaning back, didn't get her feet set into the net, got a little ahead of herself.
So after the 15-all point there, the Rams drop a point and they're down 15-30. Baeza serves. Just out past the baseline there.
Just a little bit. Racket face just a little bit too open. Sailed on her.
So how do you change that then? Are you think it kind of was more of a backboard, or how does she have to approach that shot to hit that down into the court?
Well, I think it's your grip, because your grip's different at the net versus at the baseline, but just kind of hitting down on it instead of straightforward.
Chance for the kill. A second chance. The damage is done for Fazula.
Really nice series of slams at the net for Fazula.
Good
really
get,
powerful.
Though. Good get, though, from Cozy Reva on the first one.
It was.
Second one's a gimme, though, right into Otto in the corner there. I mean, he has a racket, too, but he can't play. So he has two, actually, right there. On the far right of your screen. Still, though, it's Font to Cozy Reva. The chance to break. Double fault will do it for you. That sets up a service game for Syracuse to try to close out a sweep of the doubles point. Syracuse already has that first point in hand thanks to 6-1 finishes for Shiori Ito and Victoria Kanapetskaya in the #1 pairing, and Miyuki Komodo and Anastasia Sesoeva on the #2 pairing.
That's not how you want to end the game, on a double fault. Not good for the mental.
Well, the positive, though, for Fazula and Baeza, you know that you've broken this pairing before in the match. And again, a reminder, fans, in doubles in college tennis, just one set, first to 6 games. If they tie up at 5 apiece, it'll be best of 7. So first to 7, rather. And if they tie up at 6 to 6, it'll be a 7-point tiebreaker. Cozy Reva set to serve. First point up for Syracuse, 15-love. Do you take more chances here now that you're in the driver's seat and you're on the serve?
I wouldn't right now. I don't think they're up big enough for them to start taking risks. Maybe to get some winners. I think you still play it safe. You see another double fault into the net, this time for the Orange. But no, I wouldn't start pulling out all the tricks just yet.
We have an interesting dichotomy between this #3 pairings. Font, an aggressive player, and she capitalizes.
That was a really nice play by Font. At the feet and away from the court. And even if she got that, it would have taken her out of the play.
Cozy Reva, a really consistent player, especially in doubles. But Font, the more aggressive one when she can poach like that.
And it was a nice deep serve right on the line and set him up. Beautiful teammate chemistry for the Orange.
Unforced error there from Baeza, and that sets up 2 match points for Syracuse. They aim for the clean sweep of doubles matches here against Fordham.
3-0 lead would be big for the Orange in this duel.
Serve out wide. Font for the slam off the net. She'll take it. Syracuse closes this one out. The #3 team with the 6-4 win. The match already sealed for the single doubles point, but nevertheless, it's 3 straight doubles wins for the point for Syracuse.
That was close, but a good way to end it. She was surprised. She thought that one might have been heading back her way.
Fist bumps from first-year assistant coach Jackie Kalla. Syracuse closes out the doubles point. 3 straight wins. We'll see what happens now with singles play. 6 matches on deck right here on ESPN+. Welcome back. Syracuse, New York. It's the Orange aiming to close out a weekend slate. So far, Syracuse up 1-0 over Fordham, earning the doubles point against the Rams. This is how it happened. Shiori Ito and Victoria Kanapetskaya paired together for the first time. They get the 6-1 win, followed up by Komodo and Sesoeva with another 6-1 victory. So they had already claimed the doubles point, but both coaches electing to play out their matches in full. So that allowed Font and Kozureba to earn a 6-4 victory over Fazula and Baeza. So Syracuse has that doubles point, but now we look ahead to 6 singles matches, and for what Syracuse's outlook is, we'll go to Coach Lamam with Riley Underwood courtside.
I'm joined now by Syracuse head coach Eunice Lamam. Coach, assistant coach Len Lopez, the longest tenured staff member on this team. He's always vocal. We see him day in, day out. What type of impact does he have on the team that many fans just don't get to see on game days?
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have Coach Lopo with us for so many years with his wisdom and knowledge of the game. He played college tennis at LSU, and he's been an amazing asset to our program, and we call him our secret weapon. So he's our third coach, and he's everywhere, and he's such a team player. Anywhere we need him to be, he's there and helping the team. And I know that the girls really enjoy having him on their side and just help them problem solve.
And you have a loyal group of fans that come out and many other teams around the league don't have. What type of advantage does that give you when you're playing here at the home courts?
Yeah, we love playing at Drumlins. We're always super excited to play home. And with our fans, we can't thank them enough. I think they've been extremely loyal. They love their tennis. They come in and they're loud and they cheer us on. And we're very fortunate to have them.
And Miyuka Komodo had the closest singles match of anyone yesterday. What are you hoping to see from her today in her singles?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, when your first match, it's never easy to get going and to get that first match under your belt, but super proud of her. I think she handled her match extremely well, played against a very good player yesterday, and we expect her to play a little bit better and just to settle more than anything. I think that's the biggest thing for us as a team. The first match could be a little bit, you know, overwhelming just getting going, but once they settled, we're excited to see them on day 2.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much to Coach Lamam for the time. He is getting his team set for these 6 singles matches, and we mentioned Miyuka Komodo, who's at that #1 spot. All of the singles players for Syracuse got victories yesterday, but for Komodo, it's especially important. She finds herself in that #1 position like she started last season in her sophomore year. She'll be matched up against Rafaela Alhak, but there's a lot of intriguing matchups in this duel.
There's a lot of intriguing matchups. I'm looking forward to that #3 singles match, Fazula and Kanapetskaya. They're just 2 electric players, 2 different play styles. But overall, Syracuse got their first point. Fordham needs to bounce back and not let those doubles losses get in their head.
And so we'll get things set with the #1 singles matchup.
We're good, yeah.
Miyuka Komodo against Rafaela Alhak. It's Alhak, the more experienced player compared to Komodo, but a transfer William Mary, who played her first 4 seasons with that team. Komodo shanks that ball on the line. Right off her first serve, it's love 15. How do things open up now for singles play? Because obviously doubles play, you get the alleys, but obviously there's a different chemistry when it comes to playing 1 versus 1.
Well, that's right, and there's no one to blame but yourself. You don't get to communicate with your teammates. It's just all you in your head, so take that how you will. It can either go in a positive way or a negative way, depending on how you look at it. But Komodo and Alhak, both very good singles players, proven it throughout their careers.
Komodo takes her time setting up. She's the first to serve in this game, and head coach Eunice Lamam has really praised her growth in this program and her maturity as time has gone on. Recruited as a freshman with Shiori Ito, and in her sophomore season, now up to her junior year, still at the #1 position.
And they say her and Shiori Ito are actually best friends on and off the court, both from Japan, on opposite sides of the country, about 7 hours apart.
Ito on the far courts in Syracuse's home courts. She's at the #6 slot, currently up 30 love over Franny Shea. So here's Komodo on the ad side. She's up 30-15. Double fault from Komodo. We've always talked about getting your serves in, how important it is, but how do things change, at least for Komodo, when you think about consistency as a match goes along? She had the closest match out of any of them against Army yesterday afternoon.
It is, and the serves are a big part of that, and she just adjusted well in that last one. The toss got higher, she got it over, served it deep. But service is a big part of tennis and a big part of Komodo's game. She has a huge first serve if she can get it in.
As a result, she guides that backhand right down the line. Puts her in a chance to close out the serve. Komodo had a 6-3, 6-2 win, the #1 singles spot yesterday against Army. Return out of play. Komodo gets the first game at her #1 spot for Syracuse. One thing to look out for, game that's gone by really quick thus far, the #4 spot. Ines Font across on the #4 spot. And she's against Anlin Jay, and she's down 2-1 already. Syracuse, the #1 spot, has only played one game.
Komodo last year, 10-16 in singles. Changed around the spots a little bit. She was 4-3 in that #1 slot. She had a big win against North Carolina.
Scores 1-0 Fordham now on this court. Call was for deuce. Komodo served on the ad side, so doing the best we can, folks. Komodo will try to break serve back. Beautiful backhand winner right off the jump.
And Alec didn't even get a chance to really respond. She caught flat-footed on the baseline. Good serve, better return.
Komodo's very potent with that down-the-line backhand. Known on her team as having one of the best backhands and being able to use it just as much as her forehand.
Prior to Syracuse, she was ranked as the #1 under-18 player in all of Japan.
Another winner, this time on Komodo's forehand.
It was strong hit, couldn't get it, couldn't reach it in time. Really good at playing those corners, it's Komodo.
All hack for Fordham, down love 30. Such a flat shot down the line, and Komodo causes the error. She's up now for a triple break point. Really strong hitting from her. You mentioned how much power and how accurate she is getting it down the line, but how does her ball placement continue to really just succeed and flourish in these singles matches. It's obviously very crucial.
Yeah, and I think it's gotten better over the years as well. When you watch her play, a junior still plays like she's a graduate student, like Alhack is, evens it up at 1 apiece, and she's really good at placing those balls in the corner. And even if the opponent does get it, they're taking them out of the court. They're taking them out of play. They're not going to get the following one.
Alhack pulls it on the first point.
Unforced
Komodo up
error.
15 love.
Moto has a lot of momentum now. Alhack started the match strong, but Mayuka's coming back.
Serve down the line called just long. Here comes the second serve. And into the net, Komodo wants it back. Unforced error for her, a double fault. She's had a few of those now, and it's early on in the season, so fatigue is not a factor, but inconsistency, what are some of the things that happen when you double fault, whether you're missing a serve long or you're missing the serve into the net like on that second serve?
Well, it all comes down to the toss, whether it's high enough, whether it's too low and you're short-arming it. Even if it's in front of or behind you, it's really an art, and it takes some time to perfect it. Early in the season still, got to get that down when you go into conference play.
Komodo practicing swings of her serve. Not known for a super powerful one, but placement's always been her forte. Into the net again from Komodo on her back foot. Really good hitting from both of those players.
It was, and Komodo was staying in the middle of the court. She was making Alhack run all over the place for those balls. At the end of the day, just control what you can control, what we've been saying, what head coach Eunice Lamont says, and got to control those easy shots.
Great power from Komodo on the backhand.
Really was. Good top spin on that, too. The net gets shorter when you're hitting cross court.
It really just comes across that super flat. Komodo into the net, allows Alhack to get into this one.
That caught her off balance. He's saying, I can hit with power too. So they're getting the Pete's out in the background. That's one thing they always do. Here at Drumlin's, give the fans some free pizza.
Lots of fans showing out for Syracuse in the opening weekend slate.
We were there yesterday for the Army game. They each had a couple slices. I think me and Jared almost put them out of business.
Komodo drops her serve now, so Alhack goes up 2-1.
She does, and Komodo had a lot of momentum, and it's a really good get on the backhand, and just doesn't get under it enough to go over the net.
A lot of shots where she was reaching, maybe not getting right next to the ball, and as a result, she's down one game. And Rafaela Alhack rest, recharge, and get on her serve.
A lot of that comes down to footwork, getting your feet set, moving, and getting ready.
Elsewhere in Drumlin, Syracuse basically up in all of his matches except for this one. So Kozyreva at the number 2 spot, up 3 love. Victoria Kanapetskaya in a closer one at that number 3 position. We'll get to that one a little bit later. Currently, it's Kanapetskaya just up 2-1, but definitely a very gritty matchup between Victoria Kanapetskaya and Eleni Fizula. Font at number 4, up 2 love. Sesueva at number 5, up 2-1. And Shiori Ito handling Franny Shea, up 3 love, at the number 6 position.
The Ito's been playing really good this weekend. 6-0 and 6-1 yesterday against Army.
She's been a staple at that number 6 position. Her fellow countrywoman, Miyuka Komodo, on the opposite end of that at number 1. And obviously we mentioned they played doubles together yesterday, split up today. So both of them doing their jobs in their respective seedings. Komodo again into the net. There's been a few of those now where she's way behind the baseline. So if you're going to be that deep in the court, how do you have to hit the ball when you're playing a bit more defensive tennis?
Well, you can't hit it in the net. You don't have to hit it as hard as you normally would. You can get some arc under it and force Alhack to take a tough shot.
Right now, it's Alhack in the driver's seat, the grad student for Fordham in her first year with the program.
I really like the spin she has on her shots. That one just sails on Komodo a little bit.
Spun the serve wide, and Komodo can't take control of the point. Alhack with 3 chances to hold serve and go up by 2. This is where experience comes into play for the grad student out of Mexico City, Mexico, who's been here in the U.S. university system with 4 years at William and Mary.
She's an all-conference selection there for the Tribe. And an ace from Rafaela Alhack. Just goes a little bit wide.
Shank from Komodo. Got to try to hit those square on the racket face, and this is a crucial game for Miyuka. If she can't hold, it's Alhack that already broke her serve to get up 2-1.
And a lot of times when you frame that ball, it comes down to just keeping your eye on the ball, and everyone says that, all the sports, baseball, but you really just got to do it. You got to focus in. That's oftentimes just take your eyes off it at the last second. Frame it.
Komodo trying to control that point there, and she gets pushed off the court again by Alhack. So Syracuse, this is really the only court they're struggling with right now at the moment. The number 5 position, though, Anastasia Sesoeva, is down 2-1. Bit closer, though, in that regard. Komodo almost fell down with that one, but she gets a point back, and that's important for Syracuse.
Shut off the balance there. Really getting low, and that can help you. Not straight up, not so stiff. Get athletic, get low, make a good shot.
Syracuse is up 1-0 in total in the duel, thanks to a doubles point. They swept all 3 doubles matches earlier on this broadcast this morning at an 11:02 first serve for the 3 doubles courts. So any of the 3 singles matches would clinch for Syracuse. Or any 3 wins out of 6, rather. And Alhack, one of 4 grad transfers for Fordham. And playing at the #1 position, she's kind of taken the onus of heavy hitting opponents. That's what it comes down to. Just misses wide there.
This has been a long weekend for Fordham. Opened the season yesterday at Cornell. That was a noon start. Lost that one, and then they were heading up to Syracuse. They had practice yesterday afternoon at 5:30. Head coach Mike Sauter, he drives the bus for the team.
Komodo into the net there. And she can't afford to lose in this game here.
Alhack trying to take her head coach's spot in the driver's seat of this matchup.
Yeah, he had a poke bowl before driving from Ithaca. That was Fordham's last matchup, so they drove back up north yesterday and got some hitting done around 5 or 6 o'clock to get set for this match here today.
He was telling us he likes the challenge of going against these big schools on the road. He said he was looking forward to their matchup against Kansas State in Manhattan in mid-February, and then they're doing another back-to-back and heading down to Wichita to play Wichita State, the Shockers, the next day. There's a lot of big opponents for this Atlantic 10 squad.
A lot of back-to-back matchups and series for out-of-conference slates. That's what Syracuse has had to do. Once it hits Atlantic Coast competition, then oftentimes they get spaced out a little bit more. On the deuce side, Alhack chose the ad side, rather, for her deuce point. And Komodo can't clean it up. She drops her serve again at #1 singles, and Alhack goes up 4-1 in the first set.
Alhack doing a really good job so far and really controlling the points. She's forcing Komodo to do what she wants.
On court 4 with the #2 singles matchup, Paulina Kozureva across from Rose Hu. It's a really big jump for Kozureva, who was at the #4 singles spot or the #5 spot for most of the season last year in her senior year. Now the grad student trusted at the #2 position. Kozureva currently up 3-2 on Hu. And she's regarded by head coach Eunice Lamam as one of the most consistent hitters on this team. Just a baseline hitter, doesn't get too antsy, and tries to stay in points.
She really does. She really does a good job of controlling the points and wins a lot of matches doing it.
Might have met her match, though, in Rose Hu. Two very similar play styles where it's not like you're playing against a backboard, but at the same time, you're trying to make the opponent miss and not trying to miss yourself. Could get a lot of strokes going on in those points.
And a lot of times, your worst matchup is yourself. If you're playing exactly like someone else, your opponent, oftentimes it's harder than playing someone with a different play style that you may see more often.
Who pancakes the first serve, so go for the second try here.
Powerful backhand on the returner for Polina.
Who just missed long, though, and can hold on to her serve, and that puts Kozyreva up 4-2. So a strong break for Polina Kozyreva, and she'll get the chance to serve. Really strong placement. Great follow-up. And the finish from Kozyreva.
Just beautiful. Really nice finish. Took her off the court and then finished it, put her away. Took her right, took her left. I'm just gonna take you home. Winner for the Russian.
Just long from Hu, and Kozyreva goes up 30-love. You could see Rose Hu there inching up there ahead of the baseline for that second serve return. Maybe anticipating the kick serve, the spin a little bit more?
I think she was, and she could have used some more top spin on that ball on that return.
First serve ace from Polina Kozyreva right down the tee.
Yeah, that was really nice. Didn't even give Hu a chance to react. Right on the white stripe.
It's always the most satisfying, even if you get it into the ad side, but it still clips the center of the line. But she got it right on the tape there. That was perfect.
That was good from both sides of the court.
A really strong service game from Polina Kozyreva. Continues placing her second serves in.
Yeah, she takes a different approach when she spins at a little more safe shot. Don't need the power all the time, and it keeps your opponent on your toes.
Trying to go for that ace again. Second serve ace from Kozyreva.
Man, she is doing it on the service. Again, Hu just didn't even get a chance to move. Right in the corner. Wasn't expecting it. See a little smile from Hu. She knew it right when that ball was hit.
So for the fans at home, you see a first serve ace, you see a second serve ace. You see a really flat shot on the first, and then the angled racket face in the second. How much skill does it take to execute both of those in the same game?
It takes a lot of skill, takes a lot of practice, and it really makes your opponent guess. And when you're guessing what your opponent's next move is, it usually doesn't end up the best.
So Kozyreva at number 2 is up 5-2 off of her service aces. Terrific performances from her. We're now at the number 4 singles court with Ines Font and Anne Linger, a freshman for Fordham, the lone freshman playing tonight, or this afternoon. She's down 4-1 to the more experienced Ines Font. What's interesting about what head coach Michael Sauter said to us, though, on his way over to Syracuse, is that he could go 11 deep with the roster. That's the amount of players that he has. And we asked him, do you have a starting 6? Do you have 3 double pairings? He said, well, my 1, 2, and 3 are unchanged. But 4 through 11, he could play anyone on a given day. So, I mean, that's what he's basically really riding on, especially with the depth of his team. It's one of the largest teams he's had since he's taken over the program.
It is, and that's, I guess, a good problem to have when you're the coach, when all those guys can compete at the number 4 spot. He said basically they're all pretty similar in skill level that he's seen in practice. They're interchangeable.
At the very least, you have a great hitting partner, and Jay's probably no different. A great backhand shot there. Bit of an inside-out backhand, and she gets the winner. Font blasting that first serve, and then she gets her second shot.
It all started from the serve. Sometimes when you watch these games, 4 or 5 hits, it all starts from the moment you serve that ball, and whether you take them off the court, you lead them in, it's all a game.
Drop from Font, and characteristic of her play style. We mentioned her aggressiveness during doubles play.
And Lancia just got a little too fancy there. Trying to slice it. Not enough finesse.
In singles play, Font played primarily at the 5 and 6 last season, now in the number 4 spot for the second time this year. It's a bit too aggressive there on the shot, missing long and wide. But for people unfamiliar with Inês Font, from Portugal, recruited by head coach Eunice Lamam, and the reason why you're hearing a lot more of a sonic boom off her racket, and a bit more spin on the ball, is because she grew up playing on the clay courts, the red clay in Portugal. Even her movement is different, and it took time to get adjusted to the hard court surface.
And you see her when she's playing. You can imagine if it was on clay, she'd be sliding. You use it to your advantage. She's a really good player, very aggressive also, which is what you see sometimes with those players with clay court backgrounds.
I mean, another player for Syracuse, Anastasia Sesueva, grew up in Sarasota, Florida, and in Florida there's a lot of clay courts as well, the green clay, albeit not red and not traditional, but that's what they have here in the States. Sesueva's up 4-2 at the number 5 spot, taking care of business against Cindy Zhu. So Font up 5-1 now over Zay, the freshman for Fordham, and the Ram has her service game now.
Shiori Ito finished her first set of matches, 6-1 over on court 6 over Shea.
Yeah, Ito Jr. against the grad student Franny Shea. Light work for Shiori Ito. Off the net, and remember, no lets in college tennis, we play on.
Yeah, these guys are used to that, though. May not have been before college, but once they're here, they do it in practice. They know that they got to be ready even if it hits the net.
So plenty of matches around now, the latter stages of the first set. In fact, the line of 3 straight seedings. Number 2, Paulina Kozyreva up 5-3. Victoria Konopetskaya up 5-2. And of course, right here on court number 5, the number 4 seed, Inês Font, up 5-1. Looks like we got a nosebleed on the court right now. Was truly wondering what happened on that sequence there. She hit the ball out. That was Anne Linjay, the freshman, so she'll plug that. Now we're with Shiori Ito, number 6 singles player for Syracuse, who already closed out her first set 6-1. Ito again controlling play with strong baseline hitting, lots of spin on those shots deep next to the baseline.
She does. She loves utilizing the spin, and she does a good job at it. Took care of business the first 7 games. Trying to close it out. This set of hopefully 6 for her.
In the second set, now Ito up 1-0 over Franny Shea, ready to serve. A reminder, Syracuse got the doubles point after 3 straight wins. The first 2 claimed by the #1 and #2 pairings. Shiori Ito paired with Victoria Kanapetskaya for the first time in their careers, and they got a 6-1 win. Another 6-1 win for the #2 pairing in Kimoto and Sesoeva. And for the #3 team, it was Ines Font with Paulina Kozireva, the closer 6-4 bout. Ito powers through that serve. It's one of the more powerful serves I've seen from her in her career.
That was a big one, and
someone's working in the off.
Pumping the iron. Small in stature, standing at 5'2", but she's got some strength, and see it once again. Folded Franny Shea's racket a little bit. So 2 in a row, really big serves by Ito, and not enough grip on that racket. Kind of loses control of it. Nothing doing for Franny.
Franny Shea takes a look at her strings, keeps the same racket. Ito into the net on the first serve, so she'll go for her second try. Beautiful from Shiori.
It's exactly where you want it. Took her off to the left, and she knew she wasn't getting that one. Really powerful shot from Shiori. And she was making Franny Shea run all over the court. Ito in control of this one.
What's the key there, though? The fine margins? I mean, she goes an inch out to the left. She might be out on that first shot there. So what's kind of the mentality there? I mean, we've heard coaches in the past, especially Eunice, say, you know, you're kind of aiming for a little square area, not necessarily the line, and she's playing well with it.
Yeah, you want to give yourself a little bit of room, but that's what they practice day in and day out. They're prepared for this, and another great shot from Ito. Shiori in control of this one. Won the first set of matches 6-1. And got Shea a little flat-footed.
Ito now up 2-0 in this game on court 6 for the #6 singles pairings. Updates elsewhere. Syracuse has a win at #2 singles. Kozireva closed out the first set 6-3, and at #5 singles, Sesoeva up 6-3 in the first set. She closed that one out at the #5 position. Along with that, on court #2, the #3 singles matchup with Victoria Kanapetskaya and Eleni Fizula. Kanapetskaya taking care of business with a 6-2 first set victory.
That was a match I had my eyes on going into this one, Jared. Kanapetskaya and Fizula, both really good players, especially for the #3 spot. On a lot of teams, they could be higher than that. Both all-conference. Kanapetskaya, an All-American her freshman year. Both really strong players. It's a good matchup.
It's interesting because Kanapetskaya was the #1 singles player her freshman year, and since then, past 2 seasons, really dropped down to the #3 spot. She's kind of settled there, and she's been consistent in that role. Shiori brave with her shots. Ito's just pounding those balls right to the baseline. It's really difficult for Franny Shea to kind of just scour that court if she's touching the green tarps right there next to the walls of the Drumlin Tennis Center.
Yeah, she's scorching them. Those tarps are flying back when the ball hits them. She's been playing really aggressive so far in this one.
You don't want to go any further because you'll run into a metal beam or maybe some cans of tennis balls, some old boxes, you know.
Don't want any more nosebleeds.
That's for sure.
Shea on the other side. From Bozeman, Montana, transferred from Davidson. We talked to Mike Sauter about sometimes what he tries to pitch to these recruits when they're entering the portal. And one thing that really stuck out to Franny Shea was the music program at Fordham down in the Bronx. That's really what attracted her to the Rams, the education and the music program.
Fordham, as well as a school in general, one of a very highly touted academic institution. So Mike Souter getting 4 grad transfers, and he said a lot of it really wasn't by his own doing as much as he had a few walk-ons just come onto the team and want to play tennis. Fortunate series of events for the head coach, and he has 11 players on his roster now. 10 of them, though, traveled. A rare miss in this matchup for Shiori Ito. Still up in this game, though.
As for Franny Shea, you're down, but you're not out. The game is not over until it's over. And there's still time to come back. She's played a good game in this one. She can get a few more points, string some momentum together. Anything can happen.
Shea digs under that one, and she drops her serve 2 times in a row, and Ito's up 3 to the love.
That's been all Syracuse on this court. Digs that one out low, and a little too much power on it. Not enough top spin.
So Ito with the first set win, 6-1, and she's in the driver's seat, up 3-0. Syracuse still only up 1-0 though in the duel. You'll have to stick around for more singles action after a quick break.
Since 1980, the JMA Wireless Dome has been the premier venue for sports, concerts, and events in Central New York. The Loud House has witnessed some of the greatest moments in sports.
Got it! Syracuse win! Are you serious?
2024 marks a new beginning for the home of the Orange. The same legacy, a whole new experience.
Listen to this place.
Secure your seats in the JMA Wireless Dome for 2024.
Back in Syracuse on a Sunday afternoon, the Orange with a Sunday matinee against the Fordham Rams. So far, Syracuse up 1-0 thanks to the doubles point. Syracuse also swept all 3 doubles matches. Right now in singles play, they have a few first set victories and some matches wrapping up their first sets. The number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 6 singles matches both had, or rather all of them had first set victories. Right now we're on court 4, the number 3 singles matchup, or rather court 2. And it's Kanapetskaya who got a 6-2 victory in the first set. She's currently up 1-0 on her serve.
Kanapetskaya doing a good job so far. Really good serve to take Fazula out to play, and Fazula tries to recover, and Kanapetskaya doubles down, hits to the same place she did in the last shot.
I always love when players jump up for a shot. I mean, not just getting your body through it or swing through it, but everything goes through a ball when you're jumping into it like Kanapetskaya did there.
And she's really exciting to watch, and a fun player. Well, not a fun player to play against, but it's fun for us here.
Another great serve from Kanapetskaya. She clips the inside of the box. And that's a very cheeky ace there. She goes up 40 love.
We've seen a lot of improvement on the serves from Syracuse, from the doubles to the singles. I'm seeing a lot more consistency, a lot more power, a lot more confidence in their balls.
Chance to go up 2-love in the second set for Victoria Kanapetskaya. Beautiful placement. And shanks all the way up into the ceiling. That's a service win for Kanapetskaya.
It is, and another framer hits the roof of the Drumlins courts.
I don't know about you, Riley, but when I was playing growing up, we would call it like a Shankosaurus sometimes when we were kids, but Shankaroni, what would you call it? I never had those?
I never had those. Never had the Shankosaurus.
You must have been good, though, because that means you really didn't shank it like I did.
You've seen the tape, Jared. You know.
Yeah.
Come on.
So Fazula in her service game, a momentous point closed out by Kanapetskaya.
Fazula kind of laughing that one off. Kanapetskaya taking control, making Fazula hustle. She's really good on the effort side of things. She won the Spirit Award 2 seasons ago for the team.
She's won everything for that team.
She has.
And most improved player on the All-Atlantic 10 team, helped clinch their Atlantic 10 championship, as we said many times before. A very important player in that run last season that helped them get to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, she did have the clinching match when they played Virginia Commonwealth last year's A10 championship.
Struggling right now, though, against Kanapetskaya. Do you adjust to your opponent, or what changes?
I think you have to adjust your opponent because she sees what Kanapetskaya is doing. She's taking her all over the court, and Fazula's kind of in no man's land there. Got off balance, leaning back. It's not going to end well. Kanapetskaya knows that. She's going to take advantage of what she can.
She also doesn't show you anything, whether it's her play or her emotions. She's just stone cold.
They're opposites in that regard.
Again, it's great, powerful hitting from Kanapetskaya and forces Fazula to make another error there.
That's one thing that happens with Fazula. Sometimes the errors kind of build up. They pile on top of each other, and that was what Mike Sauter, Fordham head coach, was preaching to his team. He saw it a lot in the match yesterday at Cornell. Just make a mistake, get in your head about it, it piles on. Just got to forget about it, on to the next one.
Fazula now dropping 4 straight points on her serve. That puts Kanapetskaya up 3-love in the second set. And she had one of those close matches. She got to a tiebreaker. Fazula dropped it 3-6. And then her second set, she lost 7-6 with a 7-2 loss in the 7-point second set tiebreaker. So she was one of 3 players to go to a tiebreaker. That's those mistakes that can kill you.
It is, and that's what happens a lot when you go to those 7-point tiebreakers after the 2 matches are knotted. A lot of times the momentum or the mistakes pile up because you only have 7 points to make it right.
Back on court 6 with the number 6 pairing, Shiori Ito won her first set 6-1. She now closes out the 5th game in the second set, and she's up 5-love over Franny Shea.
That should be a good start to go up 2-0 if she can finish this one out and take care of business for the Orange.
Yes, Syracuse with the 1-0 lead in getting the doubles point with 3 wins in doubles. It was Ito pairing up with Kanapetskaya in number 1 singles to get a 6-1 victory. Number 2 got the 6-1 win, and then the number 3 pairing got a 6-4 victory. The third one kind of immaterial because sometimes those matches go unfinished, sometimes they play them out. In out-of-conference play, it really depends on the discretion of the coaches, and Michael Sauter and Eunice Lamont wanting to get repetitions early, and that's what Sauter spoke about with his packed out-of-conference schedule early on as well. And maybe it's not taking its toll on Franny Shea, but she's playing against probably one of the more consistent hitters in Shiori Ito.
That's true, but it's still good to get those repetitions, even if the point is out of reach. 7 total points, best of 7. Got to get to the 4-point mark. 6 of those points are singles, and 1 of them is from the 3 doubles matches combined. So that's why it's 1-0, because you just need to win 2. Syracuse won 3 of them. Got the 1-0 lead over the Rams.
Ito powers it a bit wide, though. She's the closest within reach of getting the first singles match of the day. Syracuse only needs 3 singles victories to get to the 4-point threshold of the best of 7 series in this duel this Sunday afternoon. Ito again forcing out her opponent with consistency.
Consistency, because we saw a risk she took last point that ended in the Shea point. But Ito, we're going to see her take some risk because she's up 5-0 in this one. But right there is just consistency, back to the basics, forcing Franny to make some mistakes.
There's another one. Might hit off the dampener and the frame. Regardless, it's not the center of the racket.
It was not the center of the racket, not the center of the court either.
Those dampeners, you'll notice little dot on the racket in the hands of Franny Shea right in that left side alley. Helps to prevent any vibrations when you do frame a shot. Or if it hits your strings a bit weird, it's basically just a shock absorber. And it's not really required, but a lot of players do sport those dampeners and have smiley faces, different things like that.
Yeah, they give you a complete different feel on the racket, and most players do opt to go for the dampeners.
Shiori, that helped her out there with that first serve.
It did. Really nice serve. Shea couldn't get around to it in time.
So that brings us to match point for Shiori Ito at the number 6 singles spot. Yesterday, she won 6-0, 6-1 against Army. First serve from Ito down the line. Ito gets the win. She claims her service game. She got 3 breaks, and she gets a second set win. Ito closes out number 6, 6-2, 6-0. The Orange are up 2-0 in the duel over Fordham.
They are, and that was a really dominant victory from the jump from Shiori Ito.
So Ito up for Syracuse. The first singles victory closed out on the day.
Really good weekend for her.
So great weekend for Shiori Ito closing out play. All of the matches now that are still in progress in their second sets of play. Syracuse has won all of the first sets except for the number 3 court with the number 1 singles pairing. Komodo dropped her first set 6-3 to Rafaela Alhak. So now back on court 2 with the number 3 singles matchup. It's Victoria Kanapetskaya against Eleni Fazula. We saw them earlier. Kanapetskaya got the 6-2 win in that first set, and she's up in this one. She's been really dominant there. Not a great error, though, from Kanapetskaya on that one. She's not moving her feet.
That's right, and that's a lot of times what it comes down to is footwork. Kanapetskaya usually excels in that regard, but got caught a little flat-footed there. Fazula takes advantage.
Up 3-love on her service game. We saw some of the powerful serve she was hitting. See what she can drum up here at love 15.
That toss a little low that time from Kanapetskaya. See if she adjusts.
Again, she's reaching for it. the consequent bounce of the racket.
That's
Do too much damage.
Not too much. And
Yeah.
that toss was a little bit higher than the last one. Just tried to spin it. Just couldn't get it over the net.
Yeah, you don't want to be like a Pete Sampras or anyone like that. A lot of professional players breaking their rackets a time or two. And Syracuse has some alums in the professional circuit. And be worth mentioning, Gabriela Knutson, the last All-American before Victoria Konopatskaya. She was an All-American in doubles with Miranda Ramirez, and as well as being a singles All-American in 2019. Her name up in the rafters in Drumlins, and she was in the Australian Open qualifying round in the final round just on Thursday, and she lost her third set in a tiebreaker. She would have gone into the first round, could have played against players like Coco Gauff, other players. And for Knutson, out of Czech Republic, recruited by Eunice Limam, played her career here, and most importantly, what Eunice said, a player that grew into her own shoes and really didn't start out at that #1 position, and it gives a lot of hope to players like Konopatskaya and other players that could see pro aspirations down the line.
Yeah, and it gives a lot of exposure to the program, even though she didn't end up winning that last matchup. She's in the headlines. People are noticing. People are watching. As you see a beautiful drop shot from Konopatskaya to get that point. But Knutson really was a great player, and Konopatskaya, the next All-American. Really good recruiting from Coach Limam. He loves to go international.
He put it bluntly for us as far as what American recruiting does at times, and it's extremely difficult for Syracuse, especially when you don't just consider the ACC, but the SEC, with a player like Anastasia Sesoeva, who grew up in Florida and went to UF for her first season. The sophomores up at the #5 spot, 6-4, and then 1 love right now. And obviously it's kind of an anomaly, but Eunice talked to us and said, you know, a lot of players want to play their outdoor tennis. They like the weather down there. That's definitely a huge factor as well. And so if you're not getting players from Canada or other places, you know, you got to look elsewhere. And Eunice, being a native of Morocco himself, coming over and coaching in the collegiate ranks for quite some time, really touted for his job with Rice University, in which he brought them to a top 20 ranking during his time before getting the job here in Syracuse. And that's a huge part of that. You know, if people are looking for a pile of diamonds, I guess, and that's priced really high, you might be looking for a canary in a coal mine to a degree, and that's what he's found with a lot of players.
He has, and he's really worldwide from Mohammedia, Morocco. He speaks English, French, and Arabic. So you can call him Mr. Worldwide. Imam, a good tennis player himself, played his college tennis at Drury University, 87-17 in his singles. Really impressive. That guy, and I think that earns a lot of respect from your players too. I'm not just telling you this stuff. I lived it, I played it, I was good.
You know they called him Flipper, do you know that?
Why'd they call him that?
Take a guess. I don't think you're gonna get it.
I don't know.
Okay, so he won all those matches, right? So his teammates would call him Flipper because he'd always be flipping the scores so quickly. It came up in conversation a few years ago with Cameron Azir, who was on broadcast last season, and yeah, it's kind of a very interesting fun fact about Eunice, and we've talked about his success at the coaching ranks and obviously at the playing ranks as well. It's definitely a very formidable player when it came to those singles points, for sure.
That's a good nickname to have if that's the reason for it, flipping those scores.
It doesn't really come up anymore when I guess you're just hitting in practice, but you should see Eunice out there and his son as well sometimes playing before games, fans. Obviously, it's great that you're watching here if you can't make it out to the Drumlins Tennis Center in Syracuse, but it is definitely a spectacle. There's free pizza this weekend for the opening series as well. They do a great job putting on a show for the fans. And Syracuse has really always had a great product in ACC play and out of conference as well to start seasons, just like they have this year.
They have, and when we went down there yesterday to watch the match versus Army, when you just go down to watch Syracuse play some tennis, they have a good fan base that's dedicated. You see the same faces every time, and it's a family event. The kids come out, parents, grandparents, eat some pizza, watch some tennis. It's really a community building event. And one thing, most everyone knows each other that goes to these games. They're all Syracuse fans, and they love having conversations about it, talking about tennis, playing it before and after the matches as well.
Absolutely. I've seen the people in the back row there, and when I go to play sometimes, and they're always members of the country club. They get their match play in, and they're always here supporting Syracuse tennis. So it's a great, great sense of camaraderie here for this Syracuse team at home.
That's a lot of other programs, even in ACC, SEC, they don't have that type of dedication from their fans that are coming out day in, day out to watch the team.
Last season played against Boston College for its first road ACC matchup and won in a tight 4-3 game. And that was played in a bubble, so BC, when the wintertime comes, plays in like a few different places, so it is difficult for fans to come in. So having that one constant area where Syracuse practices, plays, really does help out for the turnout. So Konopetskaya on her serve, up 3-2. Fazula with a great job crawling back into the second set.
She did, and thought maybe when watching the first one that she had gotten in her head a little bit, gotten frustrated, but she's climbed back, and she's not out of it just yet.
A lot of the second sets across other courts extremely close. Number 2 singles, Kozareva up 3-2. Komodo just up 3-1 at number 1 singles over Allhack. Font is just up 2-1 at number 4. And Sesoeva on court 1 for the number 5 singles pairing is just playing the first, or just won her first game on to the second game in the second set. So not a lot of parity between any of these players thus far in the second set, and that's what head coach Michael Sauter said he wanted to see. If you get down, don't get knocked out. Fordham's making a match of it. Syracuse up 2-0 in the duel thanks to the doubles point and a clean sweep. And then Shiori Ito's number 6 singles victory, 6-1, 6-0 over Franny Shea. She's only dropped 2 games on the entire weekend in doubles. She closed out yesterday's matchup a 6-6-1 victory against Army.
When you hear that screaming in the background when they're hitting the ball, that's Cindy Zhu, the Canada native. She's loud over on court 1. You can hear her right now. She's down. Love 1, and she dropped the first set of matches 6-4. Sisaweva up on her.
Back with our eyes on this third singles court, Konopetskaya trying to take advantage of her powerful, heavy serve. She just hit that one out though, so. And for Fazula to gain confidence and get a break in this set like she's already done before, how important are these next few points, and what has she changed from the first set heading into the second?
I think she's gotten her head straight a little bit, got focused in. She's limiting her mistakes, but yeah, these next few points really important. The difference between 4-2 and 3-3 is huge, and it's just one game. Because if you go down 4-2, you're just playing catch up all over again.
Konopetskaya sets herself up to hold serve. First serve right down the line, and she closes out the game. It's 4-2 Konopatskaya, and that's a huge point for the number 3 singles match. Now we'll shift things over to court number 3 with the number 1 singles matchup. And this is where things get dicey because Rafaela Alhack won the first set against Miyuki Komodo 6-3. Komodo was just all out of sorts, and then second set comes along, and Komodo's twirling her racket, watching on, and leaves with a 4-1 lead in the second set.
Yeah, she changed things around, and we weren't really expecting Alhack to come out and win that first set. Komodo's came back, not giving up. She's up big in this one.
The scenario, if Komodo clinches the second set, a 10-point tiebreaker for the third set. That happened for Fordham twice, or rather just once in their 6-1 loss at Cornell, but they did have 2 set tiebreakers in their singles play as well. Meanwhile, Syracuse didn't necessitate that to any degree and had 2 set sweeps in every single singles match. Komodo into the net gingerly there, and not much power on that. She'll try to close out her second set at number 1 singles. A little ways away, but with the number 2 pairing, Paulina Kozyreva on court 4. She won her first set 6-3 over Rose Hu, and she's now up 5-2. Kozyreva with the best stroke in that point, maybe the best grunt, I don't know. Both players really putting a lot of power into those shots.
That was a good point on both sides. Impressed with the effort from Hu. I really think that's interesting when you see these players double down, because a lot of times when you're recovering from a shot that takes you out of the play, you're trying to recover, get back in, you're not expecting it to go right back where you were before. You didn't need to move at all.
It's a winner down the line for Kozyreva, and she's been confident on her service. And she can feel the match right in her fingertips.
Really nice ball from Rose Hu. Kozyreva's been hitting the ball with a lot of power, and Hu just out-fancies her a little bit. Nice topspin to hit it cross court. Kozyreva just couldn't get there in time. Wrong place, wrong time.
Another powerful first serve from Kozyreva, but the shot into the net. Not discouraged one bit, but maybe a little disappointed dropping 2 straight points. And she's really been consistent all day.
Last year, Kozyreva began the season. She's a grad student now, her senior year last year, with 12 consecutive wins. Finished with the best record on the team last year, 18-8.
Kozyreva still serving for the match. On deuce, the ad side chosen by Hu. And Kozyreva into the net. Hu breaks a game back. Kozyreva's up 5-3 now. She was serving for the match there a few times, but now she'll have to rely on her return game to try to close this one out.
She will, and I think that's exactly where Hu wants it to be. She wants to have control of where the point starts out so she's not so off balance when Kosireva gets those big shots to the corners. Toss a little low there.
Second serve dinked in by Hu. She goes for it. Not once, not twice, maybe 3 times, and that's not the charm.
Very aggressive there from Rose, Hu, and it worked at the beginning, but just got a little too confident. Sometimes just best to let that ball bounce or go with a volley. Safer option.
Hu down love 15. Kosireva gets another point back. And she's just hitting the ball right back to the court. What we mentioned should be the game plan for Hu, being slapped right back in the face by Kosireva.
Exactly right. Now Kosireva's only 2 good points away from taking 1 more point for Syracuse to make it 3-0.
Great gets from Kosireva, but it's closed out by Hu. She gets a point back.
That was a really nice point from Hu, and she made Kosireva go out and get it, and then she loves just hitting the regular forehand out of the air, and that time it did work in her favor.
First serve is in, the return is way off, even at 30-all.
I think Kosireva was misanticipating that serve, swung a little early. That's why it went way out.
Great anticipation by Kosireva. Now she attacks and she finishes. Hu forced out wide, and she has a chance to break on match point.
That was just a bit outside, and Kosireva did a nice job of recovering when it looked like Hu might have had the advantage in that point.
Break and match point for Kosireva.
Really nice serve.
Took a lot off of it, though, and wasn't expecting that, I don't think.
She did take a lot off of it, but it was right where Kosireva wasn't, and didn't even take a step to move and try to get it.
So at deuce, Kosireva chooses the deuce side. It is a break, set, match point. And Kosireva clinches. Didn't need to do much there, but she takes it. Number 2 singles for Paulina Kosireva, 6-3, 6-3. Syracuse improves to a 3-love lead over Fordham in the duel.
So that means that Syracuse only needs 1 more match to go its way out of the ones that are going on, to go home with the victory and send Fordham home with 2 losses in a row, back-to-back and back-to-back days.
So Kosireva closes out the point. Perfect on the weekend as well. Had a 6-2, 6-love win yesterday against Army. Now we're over to court 5 with the number 4 matchup with Inez Font blasting a forehand down the line. She won her first set 6-2, She's up 5-1 in this one. That was a terrific shot.
And now it's 40 love.
(30-15) for Jay for Fordham over Font, getting a point back. Pushed out of play, second straight point. Font aims to break, close out her set, and winning her match would clinch the duel for Syracuse. The Orange got a 7-0 win over Army yesterday in the season opener, also played at home. Fordham lost 6-1 against Cornell yesterday, continuing a road swing to start the season. First serve just out in the ad box. Font patiently returns. She won 6-0, 6-1 in her number 4 spot yesterday. Bit more tricky here today. Another strong blast from Font, 3 straight points. And just like Cozy Reva did just moments ago, she doesn't just have a break set match point, but a break set match point to clinch the duel for Syracuse. And that's a beautiful passing shot from Jay.
That sent Font flying down to the floor. A little slow to get up.
Yeah, we're not on clay here.
Not on clay here.
Yeah. Still so aggressive.
Very aggressive, but that's a better play for Sia.
So at deuce, Font picks the deuce side. Tries to break for the match. Font goes long. Jay holds for serve. As Inez Font dropping a game, and she'll have a chance to serve for the match. Up 5-2 to still. 5-2 still in the second set.
That was really clutch playing by Ann Lancia, the freshman from Markham, Ontario, to get that game back. Not let Font run away with.
Now for the number 1 singles matchup on court 3, you'll see to the left of your screen, Miyuka Komodo sitting down, resting up. On the opposite side, Rafaela Alhack, the number 1 for Fordham. She won the first set 6-3 over Komodo. Now Miyuka Komodo finds herself up 5-2 over Alhack. Again, the scenario, if they get to a third set, de facto third set really, would be a 10-point tiebreaker, assuming Komodo clinches the second set.
Komodo's done a good job of coming back in this one to overcome that first set loss.
Yeah, and she went up 6-3 in the first set, 5-2. She's now clinched this second set actually, 6-2. So now we go to the 10-point tiebreaker. And so how it works, folks. First player serves once, then the second player serves twice, and then after that in the tiebreaker, players continue serving twice and switch sides every 6 points. So we'll keep you updated on how Komodo's match transpires as Font serves for her match. She's up 5-2 again, the number 4 singles spot over Sia.
Sia hits that one just a little bit out. Font was glad to see that one soar out, because if it was in, I don't think she was getting there. Font, good job going back and forth. Again, not clay. She would have slid on that one. Almost.
We see a lot of players in the new game now sliding on hard courts. I mean, tears at your ankles, but there is a technique to do it, and a will for Ines Font to do it as well. Call from Font just out.
You see Font running into the wall almost. She calls it out. That serve just a little too strong.
Oh. Another miss wide from Zia, and Font up 40-15. The same scenario she was in, just returning against Zia, but now she has a chance to clinch on her serve. And she'll serve for her #4 singles match and the duel for Syracuse. The Orange up 3-0 thanks to a double sweep, and then a win from Kozireva and Ito. Great backhand forces the error, and Ines Font closes out the match for Syracuse. A 6-2, 6-2 win at #4 singles. She clinches the duel with the 4th point of the day. Syracuse up 4-0, closing it out against Fordham.
And it was pure domination from the Orange. 4-0 for Syracuse, and I was really impressed with Shiori Ito in that #6 singles spot. She's had a great weekend, and I can't wait to see what she does the rest of the season.
Syracuse undefeated on the weekend. A 4-0 win in effect to close it out against Fordham. Syracuse 2-0 on the opening weekend series at home against Fordham and Cornell. Thanks so much for joining us here this afternoon. I'm Jared Johnston with Riley Underwood. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.